we are creating the necessary information in order for everyday people to take smart decisions about lowering their exposure to noise pollution in their daily lives. And we're doing this by incentivizing everyday people to deliver their surrounding noise level data as easy as through a gamified smartphone experience.
So noise is a very significant environmental issue, and it's one that we really need to try and address. It ranges from everything from cognitive impairment to comprehension, learning difficulties, reading difficulties in children. Now, not all of these links are well established, but there are some that are well established, including the link between noise pollution and ischemic heart disease, noise pollution and sleep disturbance.
So my brothers and I grew up with a father that has a hearing impairment, and this was actually also one of the more emotional drivers why we decided to make Silencio a reality. Having worked on crowdsourcing environmental data before with our experience with first generation deepens, it kind of was self-explanatory for us that noise was the way to go, given that we felt that we could be creating the tools that we did not have in our childhood.
I think there are two key problems with combating noise pollution. One is that I don't think noise pollution is high enough up on the public policy agenda at governance level in cities, where it's tackled in a way that's serious and driven and where noise is considered both an environmental and public health issue. The other area is data.
We believe that Silencio's method of data collection is revolutionary in the way that we're changing the game in terms of how we are actually crowdsourcing data for citizen science projects. Everybody wants to do good in the world. I think that's self-explanatory. But at the end of the day, it's about creating the right incentives to do good. And I think Deepen really solves that equation. And looking at Silencio itself, we see a huge potential to start delivering data with consent for the delivery of that data on-chain, but also proving that that measurement actually took place by that person and that time on a completely anonymized level. And this is unprecedented as of today. We're looking at more classical ways or industries of crowdsourcing data on a global scale.
Typically, the way noise has been measured and modelled in the past is in a very static approach. So, for example, if you are interested in understanding noise at present in Europe, for example, typically the best available tools that we have at our disposal at the moment are through European noise mapping, a once every 5-year process. So the information we have is old, even when we get it published. The beauty about Silencio as an app is that it provides you with a dynamic map of noise in a city. And that means that it's more or less real time, it's changing.
Having a smartphone-based approach means that we're looking at over 7 billion potential devices that can be onboarded into this network. And that idea in itself, we feel it's really huge, and we're very eager to see what other applications we're going to start seeing in the near future by tapping into idle infrastructure.
So the real benefits of smartphones and measuring noise pollution using smartphones is that they really allow you to scale. And that's extremely valuable, because we can get measurements from all over cities. So for example, if you look at the Silencio app, we have geographic coverage of noise measurements for a range of cities all around the world, and the coverage is quite good in many cities and is going to get better as time goes on.
Silencio for us is much bigger than a blockchain-driven company, than a data company. Essentially, it comes to the core of democratizing how we gather data nowadays, but also how we commercialize that data. It's about bringing a bigger vision of Web3 and hopefully creating the platform to onboard millions of people from the Web2 to the Web3 world, and really changing our distribution and value perception. I envision a future in which a lot of the decisions you take on your day-to-day life, specifically focus on your quality of life, are going to be guided by Silencio, directly or indirectly. So the next time you're actually looking for a new home or a new office space, you will be able to probably compare certain locations on a hyperlocal level to one another, understand what are the differences between a Sunday or Monday afternoon, and what are the main sources of sound in a given location. This really has the potential to impact in terms of how we even look at the value of real estate in the future. Furthermore, we believe that being able to provide Silencio's data to major platforms such as Booking.com, Airbnb, and other short-term rental platforms are going to give the user unique insights in terms of the number one complaint worldwide in hotels, which is noise pollution. You're going to be able to select a quiet hotel before you fly across the world and without having to be surprised by a sleepless night. We also see a huge potential on the selection of gastronomy selections and venue selections in the future. Being able to know in what location you're able to take a call, have a normal conversation with your parents, is going to change the landscape in terms of how we select restaurants today. And if Google is already telling you, let's say, how expensive or full a restaurant is, we believe it's just a matter of time until it tells you how loud it is on average in that place.
Where do you see Silencio in 5 years?
I don't know, that's probably Thomas is probably better to answer.
I see Silencio in 5 years positively impacting the life of 1 billion people plus, indirectly or directly through the use of our application or other types of platforms that you might get access to our data.
I suppose in 5 years I see Silencio as the go-to app for measuring environmental noise, the go-to app for monitoring environmental noise in cities. I think also potentially it could scale in a way that is beyond comparison in the industry at the moment.